Right. I'm just going to let you know right now, this is going to be a long video. And knowing what I consider short videos, if I say it's going to be long, it's going to be long. So you see what's on the screen here. And actually, this is one of seemingly infinite number of things that I've saved. Every time I come across something on the internet, I'm like, this would be something interesting to talk about. Excuse me. I'm here drinking this kombucha business. I send it to my email, save it to myself, and as a result, I have what has to be over doing a turbo scroll here. That's got to be at least 2,000 links to articles and videos and this and that of stuff I'd like to go over at some point. One day I might get through that list. But we're here now with this. And this isn't the only thing that I'm going to be talking about. I'm also going to be talking about this here. Yeah. These two videos, but first we're going to go back to this. Love having 3 screens. We're going to go through this, and of course this is off the cuff. This is spur of the moment. It's actually spring break this coming week or next week. Let's see here now. Today in spring break in college. March 18th. Next week is spring break. Spring break in college. This was not what I expected, or not what I wanted, to say the least. Too old and not the spring break experience. Anyway, moving on. What is $100,000? What $100,000 is actually worth in the largest U.S. cities 2023 study? This is quite significant. Why? Because the city, and many have said this, including the last I heard say this was Scott Galloway, you need to get out of the small towns, sorry, middle America, and get into the large cities. That's where the money is. Okay? However, quite interesting with that. But let's just keep going. Seen as a sign of success and financial comfort, a 6-figure salary has long been an important milestone for American workers. But the times have changed, and $100,000 isn't quite what it used to be, especially as rampant inflation continues to sap the purchasing power of money and push the cost of living higher. In fact, 51% of people who earn more than $100,000 now, more than $100,000, report living paycheck to paycheck in December 2022. Now, break. Remember the video that I did just before this video? Like literally the one before, of that guy that lost, in fact, let me refresh that. Switch to this. Go to open a new tab. No, not that. Open a new tab. Let's just go here. There we go. Right here. Nope. Gen Y and Gen Z are on their own. Let me let this foolishness play right here. Remember this? Go watch this video. God forbid you go and watch my shit. 50 views. Yeah, that sounds about right. Remember all of this. Okay. Going back to what we were at. And that was in the UK, mind you. That's not even here in the US. God knows what it is over there. Especially considering that from what I understand, the euro and the pound sterling both are worth more than the US dollar, if I'm not mistaken. Not by much, but they're worth more. the exchange rates. From what somebody said there, what was it like? They're paying the equivalent to $10 per gallon of gas once you convert it all over to Euro UK measurements. Moving right along. 7% higher than a year earlier, according to a recent survey from Payments, but PYM NTS and Lending Club. Payments and Lending Club, okay. To see how much 100,000 is actually worth in different parts of the country. Remember what I said, hold on, when it comes to Middle America? Okay. Different parts of the country. Smart Asset compared the after-tax, so this is net, not gross, after-tax income in 76 of the largest U.S. cities, and then compared those figures for the cost of living in each place. And this was literally what did I literally say in that previous video that I just showed you? That I actually went on my LinkedIn and rip that boomer apart. People do not want to pay, not even what you're worth, okay, because, oh my God, then we wouldn't be able to have a business because no profit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. They're not paying the least amount it costs to replace you, which was what they were doing before. Now they're just not even willing to pay the minimum standard of living in the place where the job is. And who do you think is getting affected by all this the hardest? Boomers or Gen Y and Gen Z? God only knows what the fuck is coming after Gen Z, man. We need to end this shit quick. And then adjust those figures for the cost of living in each place. For more information on our data or how we compile those findings, read the data and methodology section below. Key findings. 100,000 goes furthest in Memphis. Okay. The city may be known as the home of the blues, but Memphis, low cost of living, survey won't make you sing them. A $100,000 salary is worth more here, 86,444, than in any other city in our study after subtracting taxes and adjusting for the cost of living. Okay. Texas cities dominate the top 10. Oklahoma City has the lowest cost of living. Now, hold on. It goes the furthest. Won't make you seem that they're worth more here than any other city in our study, even though Oklahoma has the lowest cost of living. Well, I guess there are other factors that determine how far it goes, but yeah. Oklahoma, a 100,000 goes far longer, goes a long way in the Sooner States. The Sooner State? That's what it's known as, the Sooner State? Okay. All right. The Sooner State's largest city. Considering that the cost of living is only 83.2% of the national average, the lowest out of all 76 cities in our study. A $100,000 salary is worth $84,498 in Oklahoma City after adjusting for the cost of living. So then how do they come by? Anyway, whatever. And of course, the good old-fashioned New York. In New York City, 100K amounts to just $35,791 when you consider taxes and cost of living. Tax and cost of living take a big bite out of $100,000 income in the Big Apple, which is ranked the last in our analysis after adjusting those factors. Okay. Key findings. 25 places where $100,000 goes the furthest. And I'm surprised New York managed to beat out California. But anyway, all right. I guess maybe it beat California because so many people are leaving California that it's like, okay, well, a mass exodus already happened or is happening, so it's kind of hard to fall anymore when you're already below ground. Anyway. Now, does this, I know you might not be able to see this, or at least I can't see it from my thing here, but this is the United States. Notice 25 places where $100,000 goes the furthest. And notice it's kind of centered around the middle of the United States. This is actually quite significant because what this will then mean, at least in part, if not in whole, you're going to have to get a job from the coast and move into the middle of the United States. And that might mean, again, I'm doing this off the cuff, so this is quite interesting. A lot of things are flooding into my head as I say this. And keep in mind, I haven't even gone to those 2 videos yet, which is something completely different. It probably should be another video, but it ties in so well to this whole theme. The money that you collect from the coast, busting your ass, goes furthest in the landlocks, in flyover country. I'm just farm boy flyover country, simple as, okay? In today's day and age of remote work, well, for the ones that can do remote work, this might have to be it. Of course, you're going to have to deal with other factors, especially if you're black, but other factors such as in these areas, are you really going to be living a quality life when you have people from this area that couldn't leave this area and hang in the coast, right? Seeing you people, be they black or not, but just you people, not them or like them, if you know what I mean, more or less, a lot more than less, come in here and literally gentrify the fuck out of them. Because you know what's going to happen if people start flooding in from both sides. This thing's getting a pincer attack and it's getting flanked from both sides. With people that are coming here for the low cost of living, but they're coming with their high value dollars. First of all, price is going to go up because demand is going to go up. That's one thing. It's going to price them the hell out. But these people that are coming from the coast, and I'm not getting into red or blue anything, all right? I'm really not, because if anybody wants to come with that, all of these supposed red states, why the hell do you all not have the jobs? The jobs are on the coast, okay? By and large, the jobs are on the coast. Just as Scott Galloway said, get out of the small towns and get into the mega cities. The jobs are on the coast. Okay? However, going back into it, they flood in. They drive the price up. The people here that do not have the kind of income that the people from the coast are remote work coming in with, they get priced out. They get, dare I say, gentrified out from the people that it's like, oh my God, it's so cheap here. But the people that are already there are like, oh my God, everything is getting expensive as fuck. It's kind of like with the gas prices. Somebody comes from Europe and comes over here and is paying American prices. They're like, my God, this is amazing. How are they able to give these prices away? They're giving away gas. Meanwhile, the people in the U.S. are like, look, man, fuck paying this, man. I'm about to run up on somebody and remove them, if you know what I mean, and siphon this gas, because I'm not paying this $5 per fucking gallon. Right? See the perspective? Right? So there's that. Bringing it all back into this, they come in, flood this place, flood the middle of the United States, and the people that are already here, they kind of are getting pushed around. And they might not like that. Especially when it's probably not people that look like them or are like them pushing them out because they have more money. Okay. Could you imagine going in the middle of, where is this? Is this Wyoming right here? Or wherever? Wyoming? Who has not exactly had their shipment of black people, if you know what I mean. And all of a sudden, all these rich, successful, high-class, high-value blacks are just flooding Wyoming because of the cost of living. Oh my God, they're not going to like that. They're not going to like that. Oh, anyway, moving right along. So, Memphis, Tennessee has the... And I'm not going to read each and every single thing here, but, I mean, I'll obviously have the links. You can go look it up yourself. Memphis is number 1. Okay. Texas is number 2. And this is the 25 places where 100,000 goes the furthest. They did say that Texas dominated that. Okay. And where $100,000 goes the furthest, New York is dead last. Hawaii, interesting. Well, maybe not because it's a freaking island and it's not even nearby. It's like, I know on maps it might seem close, but Hawaii is far as fuck. San Francisco, okay, of course. DC, of course. My backyard. Not surprising there. Baltimore, of course. Yeah. I guess also my backyard. They're both equidistant from me. Equidistant, however you want to pronounce it. From me here in Frederick. They're both an hour away. What is this? East, and DC is like southeast. Detroit, Anchorage. Okay, Alaska is quite interesting. Colorado, and let's just go down to number 1, Memphis. Yeah, of course. Data and methodology, that's how they did that. Tax tips for 6-figure earners. Well, something tells me 6-figure earners probably already have this, and for the rest of us that are not making that, or even anywhere near that, does this really apply to us? Again, you all can go and look this stuff up yourself. Well, I'll have the link. I shall have the link. And now here comes the second part of this. I told you this was going to be a long video. Despite the fact that I'm not reading every single thing, it's going to be a long video because this one CNN video, why the rate of single men in the U.S. looking for dates has declined, that's 10 minutes, and I'll be doing not a takedown or gloriously epic, not that, but a mini dissecting video of that. I'll also be doing, dissecting style of that. You all know how I do that. And the second one, I'll also be doing a dissecting style. Millions of men in their prime working age are leaving the labor force, creating a hole in the, and it just, well, you'll see that it doesn't even finish the title. Leaving the labor force. And we'll also be checking the comments as well. So, long video. Thank you, the 1 or 2 people that actually watch my videos. Salary needed to live comfortably in the 25 largest areas. So $100,000 really ain't doing it like that. Let's see what you actually need. Okay? As we are about, as we're staring down the barrel of a recession, probably worse than '08. Okay? And looming on the outskirts, floating around like just this giant behemoth, just floating in midair on the outskirts of town, is the threat of war with whoever. Russia, China, whoever, okay? Let's get into it. Salary needed to live comfortably in the 25 largest metro areas. and again, this is what's needed to live here. And we are told, a la Scott Galloway and et al., get out of the small towns and into the mega cities, because that's where you're actually going to make the money. Okay. It's hard feeling financially stable when the cost of living continues to take a bigger bite out of your budget. While salaries increased 5.1% between December 2021 and December 2022, wage growth couldn't keep up with inflation, which is the key point here, obviously, because then that means how much did it really increase as a net, as not on paper, not theoretically, but practically in the real world. Which averaged 8% in 2022. Ultimately, inflation has affected everything from the cost of housing to the price of eggs. I've actually not noticed the price of eggs, but I shop at Costco, so maybe that's why. Making it increasingly difficult to live comfortably in America's largest cities. With this in mind, Smart Asset set out to uncover the after-tax income now needed to live comfortably, dignified, decent standard of living. Remember all that, boomers? Okay. In the nation's 25 largest metropolitan areas. To determine how much money is needed to live comfortably in the largest metro areas, we used the 50-30-20 rule. And of course, again, I will have a link to this thing, so you can go, feel free to, in fact, let me see if this thing changes when I, yes, it does. So the link changes, so I will have both links. And you can go look this up yourself. To define a comfortable lifestyle, this rule is a budgeting strategy that allocates 50% of after-tax income to basic living expenses, needs, 30% to discretionary spending, wants, and 20% to saving or debt payments. Okay. Quote, a budget is the bedrock of many people's financial plans, and it's especially essential to understand and track your spending when the cost of everyday items is rising, unquote, says Suzanne Snyder, a certified financial planner and Smart Assets managing editor of Financial Education. Quote, being able to stick to a 50-30-20 budget means you have enough to fund short and long-term goals while paying essential living expenses. What this also means, and she didn't say this, but I'm putting this in there because it seems logical, means that with this, what they're about to talk about, how to live comfortably, and that's 50-30-20 after tax of the needs, wants, and savings. What that means then, probably, or debt payments, is that potentially, this means you're not living paycheck to paycheck, as most people in America, and as you can probably see from my previous video, maybe even in the UK are. Okay, moving right along. Data and methodology. Smart Asset used the most recent MIT Living Wage Calculator. This is interesting. Let me just see what the hell that is. Living Wage Calculator. I don't want to deviate too much from what I was doing, so let me just do this real quick. Maryland. Counties. I am in Frederick County right now. Children. This is interesting. I will... 0 children. 1 adult. Well, it's 2 adults. 0 children. Living wage. Poverty wage. Minimum wage. 32. Holy fuck. 2 adults. Oh, wait, hold on. 2 adults, both working. Okay. 2 adults, both working. 0 children. Oh, this is a video in and of itself. What the fuck? 2 adults, both working. 0 children. The living wage is $16.10, so I'm guessing that's both need to come in with that. $16.10. Poverty wage is $4.40, and the minimum wage is $13.25. Holy shit! Oh wow. 1 adult, poverty wage, minimum wage 13. Oh, okay, minimum wage is standard. Thank you, MIT. Ooh, this is nice. I will be holding on to this calculator. I wonder if I could download this calculator just in case. Anyway, I'll be coming back to that. That. Holy. Okay, moving right along. MIT calculate data to gather basic cost of living for individuals with no children in each metro area. So this assumes you're childless. Sorry, single moms, and whatever few single dads you can point to. This assumes you're childless. Oh, this is golden. Oh, you can't teach this. The data covers the cost of living in each city as of 2022. So this is going to be recent now. This is not going to be 19-2. Well, compared to 1965. Okay. The online tool calculates the cost of living by adding the average cost of housing, food, transportation, medical care, and other expenses with each metro area. We assume the MIT cost of living figure for each metro area would cover needs, i.e. 50% of one's budget, and then calculated the total take-home pay that enables individuals to spend an additional 30% on wants and 20% on savings or debt payments. Okay. And for anybody who's Gen Y and below, and probably Gen X and below, that's probably going to be more debt payments and savings. But anyway, and if this thing gets to an hour, I'll stop it. It's already at 26 minutes and 55 seconds right now. I'll stop it and start again, because just in case it runs out of space to save the thing, which it shouldn't, but anyway. This is Smart Asset's second study on how much money is needed to live comfortably in the 25 largest markets. You can read the 2022 edition here. So there's that. So I guess they do this every single year. Okay, well, there you go. For anybody who wants to keep up with this, I think that should be everybody. Key findings: St. Louis is the most affordable again. Okay, I guess this is year over year from 2022. The St. Louis metro area is the most affordable place for the second consecutive year. Well, yeah, year, requiring $57,446 after taxes to live comfortably. The San Francisco Bay Area, on the other hand, once again requires the highest take-home pay, over $84,000 take-home. That's take-home, people. That's take fucking home. To maintain a comfortable lifestyle. How many people are able to make this, much less this, single-handedly, no help at all, no help in any of its manifestations? Obviously no government, no parents, no alimony, no child support, no sugar mama, no sugar dad, no none of that. Just strictly off your work, or I don't know, hell, maybe you might have gotten some investments or some crap. Who knows? I don't know. Right? How many people are able to actually do that on their own? And if and again, this thing assumes, what is it? It's for an individual. An individual with no children. A single person, male or female, with 0 kids. Once again, sorry, single moms. Sorry, single dads. Okay. Hell, sorry, couples, although that should probably make this easier. But considering what's coming, what's coming? Single person, 0 kids. And you need this. And how many people are making this? Well, considering what? If I'm not mistaken, the median household income is, well, I don't even know how much it is for a single person. It's round about like 40 something, 50 something, 40 to 50 something. Okay. Income demands in the Southern California metro area rose by nearly 30%. Now, income demands rose by nearly 30%. Did everything increase in quality by 30%? Southern California metro area people, feel free to chime in whenever you see this video, and assuming you actually managed to get this far. Because I can tell you right now, nobody watches my shit. None of the 25 places in our study had a more accurate 1-year increase in the after-tax income needed to live comfortably than Riverside, San Bernardino, Ontario. Riverside, San Bernardino, Ontario. Okay. A year ago, 52,686 was required for a comfortable lifestyle. That number has since shot up 27.28% to 6760 in 2023. What great increases in the standard of living and quality of life accounted for that? On average, you need $68,499 after taxes to live comfortably. I'm guessing that is the average. Okay, the average. Okay, so the average across all, and that's a 20% increase from a year ago. The average across all. Okay, $68,499, and again, the average wage, and if I'm not mistaken, that's gross, not net. The average wage of Americans is, in fact, let's just do it right now. What is the wage of Americans? And hopefully it doesn't play dumb. Oh, well, North Americans, South Americans. U.S. with demographic data. I'm not even gonna break it down by race or gender or anything, but how much is the average in 2022 and 2023? Average salary in the U.S. 2020 jobbed.com. Let's see. The average. Okay. Average salary in the U.S. 2023 per year, and okay. The average is $53,490. On average, after is this according to the data? Full-time workers per year. Okay, so this sounds like it's gross, not net. You need the average gross, not net, unless I'm mistaken, is 50 according to jobbed.com. Okay, 53,490. And that's gross. I'm guessing. After taxes, which means not gross but net, you need, on average, $68,499 to live comfortably. We're not talking about getting on the goddamn Forbes list here. Okay? Across the 25 metro areas in our study, roughly 20% up 20% from a year ago at 57. So a year ago, 5701 is $57,013. So even a year ago, people make the average this year so far is still less than what was needed a year ago. Much less this. It's not sustainable, people. I mean, at the risk of sounding like one of them, oh my God, a financial clap, buy gold, and at the risk of sounding like one of them types, I am literally showing you the numbers. This is literally a technical analysis. It's not just me talking. It is literally not sustainable. And let's just add insult to injury here. Is this for one person? Because again, remember, what I'm showing you here is for one person, 0 kids. Aren't most people in the U.S. most couples in the U.S., both people having to work? It is not sustainable. It is not going to work because according to the latest data from the, okay, so wherever the hell this is, whatever that is, according to the latest data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, and the annual mean wage for a full-time worker in the United States, 53 per year. There you go. There you go. There you go. So, what is anybody going to say to this? What can anyone say to me? This was last year. This was last year. What was needed, and this was last year, the average. And again, people, this is all off the cuff. This is not a video I planned out. Okay? And this year, this is what's needed. Average. All averages. It's all averages. And let's go down here. Number 1, San Francisco. Okay, here we go. This is making more sense. California, yes, of course. New Hampshire, Boston, Cambridge, of course. Washington, okay. Denver, okay, Denver is going up. Baltimore, okay. And my thing is, who's trying to pay this? Who is, I can't believe I'm even freaking doing this, sitting here clapping my hands like some kind of woman. Who is trying to pay these motherfucking wages? Who's trying, why are millennials in the dire straits they're in? Why is Gen Z getting fucked up out here? God only knows what the fuck is coming after Gen Z and how bad they're gonna have it. Who's trying to pay? and yet, and these people are sitting here wondering about declining birth rates and people not starting families. And they keep on going on and on about how women are the ones being picky now and all that shit. You ever think maybe it's because men are saying, no, fuck this. We didn't get our male liberation movement where we get to burn ties and briefcases talking about we're not gonna take it, right? We're still expected, despite hearing how much we suck and how the world doesn't need us and how it's the end of men and all that shit and the future's female and all that bullshit, we're still expected to protect and quote-unquote and provide. What the fuck are you gonna be providing with these numbers? What are you going to be providing? And what's worse is that because women are in this fucking labor market, you have to sit here and compete with these bitches to go and bring, to wrestle money away from them, to wrestle resources away from them, money, to go and give it back to them, to bring that shit home, to give it back to them anyway. Fuck. Well, why don't men go home? Why don't men go to go in the kitchen barefoot and then take care of the kids while women work? Yeah, we would have no problem with that. The only problem is, and one Barbarossa has made this point a long time, well over, what, probably almost 10 years ago now, house husbands just ain't sexy. And that was an article from way the hell back, long before any of this. Oh, man. Oh, man. 5 places that require the highest salaries. Fucking California's dumbass. Yeah. 5 places that require the lowest salaries. St. Louis. Detroit. Yes. And then, Charlotte, North Carolina. Gastonia. Okay. Okay. And that's that. I will have links. Let me put this here. And make sure I do not forget. Where is that calculator? This I like. This I shall be coming back to. I like this. Living wage calculator from MIT. I like this. Anyway, and actually let me stop this video and then start it with the second part, and I'll just splice them together. And we're back. Now, I am not sure which one of these I want to play first, and then play the other one after, because really, I could probably play either one, and they both tie in, and then play the other one after. But, as you can see over here, men not at work. Why so many men ages 25 to 54 are what? Not working. Okay. Why are doctors quitting? Doctors. Not burger flippers, doctors. Okay. We could do this left and right all day. So, let's see. This one is 10. Millions of men in their prime age leaving the workforce. More single men and... You know what? Let's just go with this one first. So it's the shorter of the two. Let's get started.
But we're going to begin this hour with a not-so-bravo topic. We're talking about jobs and a major hiring crisis. A problem, really, bigger and older than the Great Resignation you've heard so much about. It's a problem you're not going to...
Market
Oh, Jesus.
wizard Larry Benedict.
Oh, really? That was annoying.
Rate, which is, of course, at near record than the Great Resignation you've heard so much about. It's a problem you're not going to find in the unemployment rate, which is, of course, at near record lows.
Okay, there we go.
And it's because a large number of American men in particular, men in their prime working years, are actually not working, and they're not even looking for work.
Are you sure about that? Not working, not looking for work. Considering what, assuming you got this far, I just showed you with raw numbers. Raw numbers, not X times more likely, not percentage, not per capita, not nothing. Just simple rank and file numbers. I mean, okay, averages, okay, fine. These men are not looking. Interesting. So, what do you think they're doing? Is it that they're not looking? Or they're not looking for the jobs that are available because the jobs that are available are not anything that anyone above the age of 18 would take. Okay. During this entire thing, what I need one and all to understand, oh passerby to my channel, to my humble or lowly channel, is that unlike women, men did not get I keep saying this ad infinitum. Men did not get their male liberation movement. Okay, we didn't get to burn ties and briefcases talking about how much we're not going to take it and all that business. We didn't get that. We're still expected to protect and provide. Okay. It's a little hard to do that when math comes in the way in the form of those numbers I showed you just a few minutes ago. So, there's that. Let's keep going.
The result is a bit of a mystery and also a major hole in the American economy.
My name's Mike Rowe, and this is my job. Of all?
No, actually, dude, that's not your job. That's not your job. Let's not. You know what? Let's keep going.
The jobs he's done over the past 20 years.
Now get ready to get dirty.
And Mike Rowe has done them all as the host of Dirty Jobs on this.
There you go. There you go. He makes money talking about, let's just be honest, not investment banking, not neurosurgery, not rocket science. He makes money talking about the motherfuckers under the pyramid scrubbing the sewers with a toothbrush. And he made Mike Rowe. Let's actually go on ahead and do this. Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe net worth. Oh, he has a foundation too? Mike Rowe. Wealthpersons.com. Let's just go with that. Mike Rowe. As of 2023. Okay. H-hype. This is strictly in boomer territory. Okay. Ooh, Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Net worth is $45 million. Really? $45 million. Show me one man or woman. Yeah, okay. That's worth anywhere near this much. Or just anything at all. Even if it's just one exactly. 1 cent less than you're worth, 999, blah, 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 blah. But one exact million and no cents. Anything with a million or a billion around it. And yet, you're doing that. Scrubbing sewers. And this is my job. Alright, boomer. Alright.
Discovery.
From machines that dump.
Well, now it's dirty jobs, isn't it?
The hoses that suck.
Cheap.
He's never claimed to be an economist.
Thank you.
But while taping the series during the Great Recession of 2008, he did notice something important.
All anybody was...
I'm sorry about this. I don't know why this damn thing is not working for me. Are we still recording? Yes, we are. Taping during the the pandemic, huh? Actually, did they say pandemic or Great Resignation? Hold on.
Important.
All anybody was talking...
Is something important. Is during the Great Recession of 2008, he did notice...
Okay, Great Recession of 2008. All right.
Is something important.
All anybody was talking about was the number of people who were out of work. But on dirty jobs, even then, everywhere we went, we saw help wanted signs.
It turns out...
Yes, you did. And I have made... In fact... Stay with me on this because I've actually made a video about this before. I have made a video about this. Let us go here again. I have made a video about this. Where is that video? Where is that video? Where is that video? Where is that video? Oh, that video is somewhere here. There we go. There it is. I shall have
Would
this.
you believe that
I shall have this one as well. 3 years ago, 159 views. Okay, that's fine. Blue collar versus white collar war created student debt monster. I will have this video also linked. Let's put this here like that. But help wanted signs, great resignation. Remember what I said about men protecting and providing. Okay, here's the thing that people need to understand about that whole Great Recession of 2008, as well as the Great Resignation of, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. Okay, it was low quality and low pay bullshit jobs, by and large. By and large, it was BS jobs, low pay, low level, low, or just low pay, whether they're low skill or low level or not, because a lot of these jobs that people think that they can do, a lot of people see it and like, I couldn't do that, God bless them. Okay, fine. They were low paid. Low skilled or not, they were low paid. And you're going to sit here and tell men to go and take these jobs. Okay, again, it's always men. They never bitch at women about this. Surprise, surprise. It was always men. They're supposed to go take these jobs and go try and support a family. Or if they got fired from a job that they thought they could have supported a family with, and now they got to go take these BS jobs. And because they're not some grand master at these jobs, they're starting at the end, at the ground floor in these already low paying jobs. They're probably getting extra low pay. You expect men to sit there and support themselves plus some woman plus X number of kid or kids plural, and God forbid you have some pets, off the kind of pay that these jobs pay. And let's be honest, none of these jobs are putting your ass on the goddamn Forbes list, okay? They're not. They are not. And we're going to do that despite the numbers that I just recently showed you. Where one person making however much, that's for one person by themselves, no kids. Okay, let's keep going.
Dozens of real-life economists and other researchers have a possible explanation: a long-term decline in male labor force participation, or as one think tank summarized it, men not at work.
This is a men problem by and large, right?
Seems to be.
Look back to the 1950s and
Here we go.
98% of men in their so-called prime working years had a job or were looking for one. That...
Wow, okay. Yeah, let's look back to the 1960s. What did you have in the 1960s? Let's see. You had union jobs. Oh shit. You had union jobs. You had a better, you had lower inflation. You had better dollar purchasing power. Women didn't lose their fucking minds. You also didn't have women in the workplace. Okay. And for whatever you can say can be avoided by that happening, what also meant was that you had less competition, let's just say roughly 50%, okay, which means they had a smaller pool of people to pick from. And then also you didn't have globalization back then. All right. We won't even get into the tax rates at that point. What else did you have? How gas cost 10 cents, candy was 1 cent at the store, some shit like that. Minimum wage. Minimum wage back then adjusted to today, and then adjusted back, and then minimum wage today adjusted to back then. Right, okay. So, what did you have back then that made it oh so much easier for men to take care of themselves, plus family, plus woman, plus X number of kid or kids, plural? What did they have? The women actually respected, and keep that in mind for later. Write that one down, by the way. Keep that in mind for later. The women actually respected these men in these labor jobs, these union labor-based jobs. Okay, and really it was only black and white by and large. Yeah, you might have had an Asian or two here, but it wasn't the internationalization, if that's even a word, as it is today. So, black or white, Hispanics weren't even invented back then. I think Hispanics, the term Hispanics was invented like in the 70s or something like that, 70s or 80s. So Hispanics didn't even exist back then, as a term, as a group, right? So it was really just black and white. And black or white, you back then had a lot more respect, a lot more honor, a lot more dignity from women and society as a whole, despite the problems that they had back in the 60s, right? Racial. At least that black people had racial, okay? Black or white, you had, as a man, a hell of a lot more dignity, more respect from one and all. And you had all of that because of all the things I mentioned. Probably chief amongst which was union jobs. Well, maybe not chief amongst which, but tied for first place was union jobs. Quality paying, high paying union jobs. Okay. The same union jobs that if you go and talk about unions in today's day and age, you're looked at as some Satan, Hitler, rapist of 5-year-old kids.
Number has fallen ever since, to the point where today more than 7 million men have essentially dropped out of the workforce.
We've given a lot of people a lot of options. And
No, actually you haven't. You really haven't. Options between burger flipper, fry shaker, fry salt shaker, ditch digger. You know what, I'll leave that one alone.
Incredibly, one of those options is do nothing. Do nothing.
Micro. What did I just say? He sat there. Something tells me he didn't make that 43 million just recently. Something tells me he's had wealth for quite a while. And you have that boomer sitting. you have, oh, fucking hell. You have that boomer sitting here saying, do nothing. One of the options is to do nothing. Holy fuck me. Oh, man. As this man is not actually doing one of those jobs for a living, he sits there and makes a gigantic production about other people doing those fucking jobs. And much like a white woman that, and let's be honest, white women, just like a white woman, that will go and, because in solidarity, they'll pretend to be homeless for a day, right? They'll pretend to be homeless for a day while they have a whole bunch of people with cameras watching every single thing to make sure nothing happens, and God forbid security somewhere, right? She'll go, not even in the worst area in the world, right, at night at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, but she'll go and pretend to be homeless to show solidarity, right? And then immediately get up, dust her fucking pussy off, and then go back to her middle class or high class life after. But she showed solidarity. It's the same thing with this micro dude advocating for quote unquote dirty jobs. Dirty jobs, not respectable jobs, not honest hard days work, honest days pay jobs. Dirty jobs. Maybe if society hasn't deemed things that are dirty as not desirable, maybe people wouldn't mind the dirty jobs. Maybe if you didn't go automating every fucking thing, they would. And yeah, this fucking boomer is gonna sit here and try to Fucking hell. And yet that dude that went around eating food all over the world, he killed himself? This is the man that needs to kill himself.
Roe and I met at Empire Metal, a fabrication and finishing shop in Queens, New York, and where, much like manufacturing shops nationwide, finding skilled workers like these is a growing challenge.
I bet it is. Why is it? Why is it? Why is it? Okay. People, anybody who made it this far, how much do you think these people are getting paid? How much do you think these people are getting paid? I don't know. Suppose, surprise, surprise, they don't mention that. However, what I do know is this. Where the fuck is that shit? Scroll all the way the fuck back up. Where is it? You stay the fuck with me, people. Where it goes the furthest, goes the least. Let's bring it back here. I still have this stuff up because I gotta copy the links. New York. And this is what it feels like, assuming you're making this. Yeah, okay. Let's try this again. Hey, Mike Rowe, are you still alive? Are you still alive, you dumb fuck? Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe, are you still alive? Hold on. Mike Rowe. 60, yeah. All that money, you're only 60 if your ass isn't alive. Hey, Mike Rowe, if you hear this, here you go. Here you go. How much are these people in this finishing shop or whatever the hell making? I don't know. However, moving it right on along to here. Salary needed to live comfortably. Okay. Let's bring that back. Where is New York in this again? New York / New Jersey. Okay. Post-tax. They need to be making this much. Those people in that shop need to be making, no, post-tax salary, need to live comfortably in the 25, and this is 2023 edition, New York, New Jersey. They need to be making this. Why do I get the feeling they're not making anywhere near that? And again, this is post-tax. So they need to be making far more than this. They need to be taking home this after all tax and tax. You fucked up, Mike. You fucked up with this one. Ooh.
We have more jobs than we have people for. About 1.5 jobs for every 1 worker.
Right. Now, are those jobs quality paying jobs that you can support yourself, much less a family on? I'm pretty sure McDonald's is hiring. I'm pretty sure Walmart is hiring.
Timmons, who leads the National Association of Manufacturers, describes all this as a profound problem for the companies he represents.
And a job like this back in the 1960s, since you want to bring them up, would have more than likely been unionized. Are all these people unionized as well? If not, why not?
99.9% of them will say that their #1 challenge right now is being able to fill those open jobs.
So you are here as a representative of more than 14,000 manufacturers in these United States. And the number one problem for 99 out of 100 of them is filling jobs.
Yeah. I never thought I'd be able to say that. But now it's kind of an all hands on deck. We've got to fill these jobs that are open.
And
I highly doubt you have a problem filling those jobs. If you're paying people, what did I say? What did I slam that boomer on LinkedIn? If you're paying people, what? Enough so that they can actually afford to live in the place where the job fucking is. I said that not even realizing I was going to make this video. I just happen to be a millennial going through that shit in the fucking IT world of all places. The one place that was supposed to be safe. And no, I said IT world. I didn't say startup world. Big difference. Moving right the fuck along.
there are nearly 800,000 of those jobs open right now, according to the latest federal count.
How many of the
Number that surged in recent years as companies reinvest in American-made products, or try to anyway, and with manufacturing workers earning
or try to anyway. What the fuck's that mean?
more than $30 an hour on it.
Oh, okay. $30 an hour on average. All right, well, let's do some math right here. Right fucking here. Let's do some math. Calc. And it's going to be one continuous shot so you see that I'm not making shit up. Here we go. Come on. Calc. 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 Oh, for fuck's sake, hurry up, you stupid thing. Come on. We'll get it. Calc. 3144. Remember what we need to take home, which means God knows what we need to actually make. Okay. So, 3144. 31.44 times, let's say you get paid, well, you get like what, an extra paycheck if you get paid weekly as an annual. So we'll go with that. We'll go with that. All right. God forbid there's some leap years going on. Times 40 hours per week. Okay. Times 52 weeks in the year. 65. Okay. That, ladies and gentlemen, again, one continuous shot. I'm not making this stuff up. No edit, no nothing. 65,392.5. Well, 65,395.2 is how much you're making. But that's gross, not net. Oh, fuck me. Okay, so 65. And then each month you will then divide it by 12 months. So you can gross, not net, this much every 12 months or every month. Okay, 65,395.2. Okay, bringing it back here. Post-tax, you need 78. Somebody debate me on this. I dare you. I fucking dare you. Debate me on this. Come at me. I fucking dare you. This is post-tax. This 65,395.2 is pre-tax. And this is the average. Now, how does averages work? You have to take the lowest And then you have to take the highest. Now, now, if this is average, the lower end, 0 to 31, and then I guess on a high end, and let's be honest here, it's not double. Double that, 60-something. Who's really making, okay, average. From 0, average is 31. What's the high end of that? I guarantee you it's not linear. I guarantee you somebody is not making, what, 62.88 at the high end? Almost guarantee you. Okay. One continuous shot. You saw it for yourself, people. One continuous shot. And yet they're wondering why they're having problems finding people. Forget taking care of, or men, since they want to target men. Why don't they target women with this? Interesting. Okay. Why they're having a problem with men. Forget wife and kids. Forget family. Forget the next generation and society and all that stuff. They won't be able to cover it for themselves.
Average. Timmons says the problem is not pay, but perception.
As I just showed you, the problem is pay.
It used to be dirty, dark, and dangerous. Today it's very sleek, it's very technology driven.
And that's what...
Correct, it is very technology driven. How much of this stuff is being done by machines instead? Where you don't have to worry about all the things that you have to worry about when it comes to no machine is going to Me Too your ass. No machine requires time off. No machine requires lunch breaks. No machine requires retirement. Requires any of the things that humans require. Very technology driven, yes. But of course, maybe you can't afford the machines that can do all this stuff. So you got to hire human labor. And as you can see from human labor, it's literally mathematically not enough.
We saw when we visited Electrosoft, a company outside Philadelphia that makes circuit boards for everything from missiles to submarines.
So over there is the quality area where we do first piece article testing, final testing.
But CEO...
We got an Asian here. We got what looks to be either Asian or Pacific Islander, or maybe just standard issue Latino there. Got another Asian there. Good Lord. I mean, if it wasn't for these two, and the fact that there would be a hell of a lot more, like a whole row upon row, almost looking like the Forbidden City with the Kung Fu. You all know what I'm talking about. Row upon row, rank and file, Kung Fu practitioners, Forbidden City. Looking like that, but row upon row, rank and file of workers. If it wasn't for that, you'd think this was China. Which now comes to the next order of business. And I just thought this up as I'm sitting here saying this. Looking like China, you're trying to get Americans to do that? After the way you all have been demonizing anything that's not American, not America and American, for God knows how long now. Since before I was born, at least since, what, World War II, since maybe World War I, since the railroad, since the Reconstruct, been demonizing anything that's not American, and yet now, I mean, what is this? Is this Foxconn? Come on. And not only that, again, you know what, whatever, just give me the money, but the money is not enough. Now, this is Pennsylvania. Do I need to go to Pennsylvania? Do I really need to do that? Do I need to go? I still have this MIT calculator up. Do I need to do that, people? Or are you just going to trust me on this, considering all of what I've laid out already? Moving right the fuck on along.
Carla Trotman says they could be doing more if only she had the workers to do it.
How many people work here right now?
30.
How many people do you wish worked here right now?
45.
So you have 15 people that you have jobs for,
yes,
but you can't find them.
Cannot.
How much money in lost business is there in not being able to hire the people that you want?
Around 5 million.
Oh my God, lost business. Oh my God. Lost business. Lost business. Okay. And they do not ask, okay, well, how much are you starting? Starting, not average, because when it comes down to it, you need to be able to pay rent now. You need to be able to buy food now, not later when you manage to work the average. Starting pay. How much is that, and can that cover what you need post-tax annual salary to live comfortably, to live with some dignity? Or am I to understand that these are one of the jobs where, well, it's not meant to live on, you're supposed to, is to gain work experience, and you should be living at home with your parents, like a McDonald's job or a job at the mall? Caution, men not at work. Which now leads to yet even another question. Why don't we have the women doing that? Well, because women are already busy doing all of this stuff. Oh, really? So why then don't the women take care, be the breadwinner and take care of man plus kid or kids plural and be happy doing it, not complain the way men are supposed to? This shouldn't be a problem. Men not at work? Okay. Women are at work, right? Right? Men are at home taking care of the kids. What's the problem? Oh, man. For anybody who wants to doubt me or doubt this or come up with an argument, you are not going to win. I don't care if you have a PhD in whatever, psychology, sociology, economics, whatever. You're not going to win. Your scientific peer-reviewed journal-entried academia theoreticals does not beat real world. And that's how I, with none of your credentials, am able to destroy you in something like this, because I am literally showing you raw, real world, not your perfect world, lab-created scenarios. This is real life. This isn't some think tank. This isn't some laboratory where you control all the fucking variables and want to call it science and scientific method and all that. This is real life, real world, nature, God, and goddamn, right? All right, let's keep going.
In top line revenue.
5 million.
Yeah.
That would be here, and that presumably you'd be paying taxes on.
Obviously,
and that would
yeah.
go into people's pockets, and would be
No, 5 million would not be going into people's top pockets. Let's stop playing that fucking game.
going out in the broader economy.
Yeah.
What is your theory about where those 15 people are right now?
I honestly have no idea where they are.
She suspects some people may be sitting out because of a recent change in the way many of us look at work.
I think it's fulfillment. I think it's culture. I think people really want to feel as though they are appreciated. I mean, Beyonce's song, she said, release your job. A lot of people release their jobs. They don't, and they realize, I mean, it's an overall feeling of being fed up.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what song she's talking about. I don't listen to Beyonce. Well, I guess maybe she's not a boomer, so she might be, I don't know, Gen X maybe. So she's a little bit better. And she got closer, although she still missed it by light years. But she got closer than all the boomers ever did, or probably ever will. Whatever fulfillment and all that you might want to blame it to, okay, fine. As I have just showed, it's the money. I don't care how fulfilled at your job you are. If you literally are not making enough to survive, forget even living comfortably, just to survive, you're not going to work. Resistance is futile. Do not delay the inevitable. And the inevitable is that your ass is going to be on the street. Despite having a job, you're going to be on the street because your job cannot cover the basic cost of living for where the job is. And I highly doubt you're going to be going hours, driving hours, plural, to and fro, each day for the rest of your life. You'll work until you're dead for a job that cannot... I don't even know why the hell I'm putting so much energy into this. Nobody's going to get this far. Nobody watches my videos. So, you know, it's like... The only video that I have that went quote-unquote viral, and that was after a couple of years, was that cigar video. Something as technical as this, nobody's trying to hear this shit from me, man. They want to see me do dumb shit. And then that cigar video wasn't even the most clowning shit either. That was just me just doing stuff, and people, I guess, liked it after a year, 2 years, but... Nobody cares about fulfillment when their stomach is hungry. Nobody cares about sense of purpose when they're homeless and don't have anywhere to sleep, don't have food to eat, can't take a hot fucking shower. Food, clothing, and shelter. Don't give a fuck about this job's fulfillment and sense of belonging and bigger than yourself and all that foolish talk. I need fucking money to be able to live where the hell this job is at.
Taken for granted.
But there's more. According to one economist, some non-working men face a skills mismatch. A third have criminal records, making them ineligible for many jobs and making employers hesitant to hire them. And many rely on safety nets, such as disability. So you may wonder, what are these guys doing instead of work? Kind of what you might expect. Employers hesitant to hire them. And many rely on safety nets, such as disability.
All right, let's go through that. Let's go through that. Skills mismatch. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? I shouldn't even be looking for a job right now, and I still am, because I saw how I was actually looking for a job for a while, for a long while I had a job, and I saw how hard it was, especially in this DC metro area, in IT, where you're doing consequential IT. And what's the one thing above all else, even above all the technical shit that I have never even heard of as far as certs and IT stuff that they need? The one thing above all else, government clearance. I'm not going to get into it again. Anybody who knows anything about government clearance knows why that's a hurdle. And that's just me. So I sat here and I'm like, you know what, let me start looking for a job from now. I'm about to graduate school. I'm expected to graduate school in like, what, 1 month, 2 months, the month after next. Probably give it like, I don't know, maybe 8 weeks from now or less. Okay. So let me start looking from now. And the amount of stuff that they give the job description, but then they sit here and ask for so much shit. And I'm just like, you really think you're going to get somebody that has all this and you're only going to pay them $50,000 to $65,000 for all of what you are sitting here saying are quote unquote required, not even desired, but required, plus clearance? Skills mismatch. Okay. Whose fault is that? Are you training the people, or do you expect them to just come knowing? You're not paying them what they need to even be able to live in the area where the job is. But you want them to come already with all this skills, experience, and credentials. Skills mismatch. Okay. Criminal records. Oh, this is an interesting one. So it appears to me that maybe, just maybe, the wheels of corruption in the government is going to have to change. And just the whole system as a whole is going to have to change. Because if you're running out of men because of criminal records, especially in jobs like this, these blue-collar jobs where, let's just say, anybody who can do brain surgery or do rocket science or, you know, some grandmaster computer engineer, computer scientist is not going to do, guess who you have to now employ? And criminal records, because let's be honest, the only reason why they're doing this is because this is now affecting white people. All of this has been affecting black people for the longest fucking time. Longest fucking time. Okay? And they didn't care. Now it's starting to affect white people. Okay? And that's the reason why they're doing all this. Okay? Ineligible for many jobs because criminal record. Now, as we all know, most of the black men in prison are in there for non-violent drug offenses. Okay. I don't know how many of white men are in prison for the same thing versus for violent crimes and all that stuff. Okay. But criminal records, any at all, makes them ineligible for the jobs. Okay. So these people, what happened? Why they even got that criminal record in the first place? I don't know how it is for white people, but I can tell you for black people, it's because they were being denied those jobs, or those jobs were being given to somebody else. And so, you know what? Forget even having a wife and kid to have and a mouth to feed. I have my own mouth to feed. I am here by myself. I am single and alone. No wife, no kids, no girl, no baby mama, no nothing. And I can't find the jobs that's going to pay me enough that I can live in the place where that job is. And apparently, no job seems to want to do that in today's day and age, or very few. Which there will really be a skills mismatch for, as most people don't have the skills for that shit. Okay, most people, white, black, male, female, whatever, Asian even, East Indian, they won't have the skills for it. Most people, okay? However, nature doesn't really give a fuck about that, does it? It says, eat and sleep. Okay, well, sleep, all right, I can sleep under a bridge. Eat, oh, well, that's going to require money now, isn't it? But you're not getting the job because the jobs are going to not you. Whoever the hell they're going to not you. In the case of black people, it's going to whites. In the case of whites, it's going overseas or to machines, if they happen to come back. What are you going to do? Nature doesn't give a fuck about what the hell humans have set up here calling it society. You need to eat, simple as. I didn't say anything about money. I didn't say anything about legally. I didn't say anything about buying. You need to eat. Go and eat. And so they tried to go and eat, and they tried to do that via, well, they haven't tried it the other way yet, but that's coming. So in this case, they tried to do it what the ones that can eat have deemed illegal. And they get caught. And now they have a criminal record. Because, look, people, the simple fact of the matter is, and Peter Joseph had talked about this from way the hell back in 2007, 8, whatever the hell was like, guys.
So you may wonder...
Whoops. Crime goes down in places where people are able to legitimately live. And by that we mean they can afford to live in that area. There is means to get access to what you need to live. And by means, there's jobs to give you access to money so that you can go and take that money and go get what you need to live. Food, if nothing else. Even if you live under a fucking bridge like a goddamn troll or in a trash can like Oscar, the goddamn fucking Grouch, you at least have food. that is not the case. And so crime increases. So sorry, you people, it's not because black, it's because low economic opportunity. And fair opportunity at that. Okay. It just happened to hit black people the most, and well, now there's a whole history with that, which is a complete other video, and now starting to hit the whites. And the reason why, especially in the case of you blacks, us blacks, and you whites, it's pronounced versus anybody else, or it will be a problem rather versus anybody else, is because when it comes down to it, although maybe not considering they've been Americanized, but East Indians, East Asians, everybody else that does not have historic roots here, ancestors here, historically. I don't mean like recent history. I'm talking about pre-colonial, whatever, right? They can go back to their country. You want us going back? Okay. They can go back to their country if push comes to shove, comes to dropkick. Whites can't, especially whites. Blacks can maybe try to do that Africa thing now. African Americans, okay. Although, after all that foundational black American talk you all been going off about, some of you, right? Whites sure as hell, well, we can go back to Europe. So, blacks and whites, particularly more than anybody else, this is going to be a problem if this is barring you from jobs. Okay, because everybody else, East Indians, even imported blacks, of which I actually am one, we can take our shit and take our skills and knowledge, go back to our place. It's just that it's a lot easier, it's a lot faster to make money here, but hey, you all can't. So that's the problem. Well, a problem. Safety nets such as disability. Okay, well, I mean, shit. Safety nets such as disability. Who's, well, disability is one thing, but you want to talk about safety nets. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. Who's getting that more than anybody else? Uh-oh. So, I dismiss that as well. Let's keep going.
What are these guys doing instead of work? Well, kind of what you might expect. Spending nearly 7 hours each weekday on average relaxing, playing games, and watching TV. So
Oh. Well, I guess you all didn't realize I was going to do this, so you all sat here and with the shaming tactics, but anybody who's watched this entire video from start till up till now realize that shaming tactic isn't going to work, and so I'm not even going to spend too much time on it, or any more time on it.
How is it, from where you're sitting, from your understanding, that people can do nothing all day and still have enough money for a bag of chips?
Oh, well, it's almost as though some entity is paying them. It's almost as if somebody is not letting them fail. It's as if some giant parent somewhere has...
An uncle, maybe?
Could be a rich uncle, yes. Could be a very wealthy uncle.
You all just heard that. I don't know who the hell this is from WhatsApp, so I will not be answering. It's almost as if. It's almost as if they're not allowed to fail. Now I am quote unquote filming this Saturday, March 18th, 2023 at 4:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you want to talk about not allowed to fail. Meanwhile, now 3 banks, or is it now 4 banks, have been bailed out instead of being allowed to fail. Okay. Okay. Not allowed to fail. And you have entitlement programs that go primarily to boomers, of which you are one, and women still here. And rather than letting women fend for themselves, you should have chose, hey, you chose to fuck him? Okay. You chose him instead of the boring nerd over there. You should have given that boring nerd over there, that 18-year-old puss, not this dude that's strung out on meth or that's dead from gangbanging. Like, hey. And these boomers, again with the boomers, the ones that seem to have the most amount of wealth. Okay, well then, get rid of Social Security. Get rid of Medicare and Medicaid. Stop it instantly, right now. And all who can't hang, let them fail. Let them die on the street. Or, you know what, you boomers could act your age and just die. You had the easiest life out of any generation in the probably the history of this country. And you all chose to party rather than save up. You chose to enjoy your 20s modern women style rather than just, it's almost as if there's some rich I literally just showed you all the numbers, okay? I literally just showed you the numbers. Something they did not do. And they think that and of course it's men, it's not women. What are women doing? What are women doing? Are they really working the job that can cover all that stuff? And are expected to and should be doing it? Well, depends on who you ask. But it seems to me that women don't really quite like paying for the family, much less and this is despite the fact that they supposedly want equality and supposedly can do so much. But there you go. There you go. They are not paying you what you mathematically, not what you feel you need, but what you mathematically need to be able to live in the area where the job is that they are giving you. They are not paying you that, but when you decide to not delay the inevitable and not resist the futility, and just say, screw it. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die anyway. I might as well die with all my energy rather than die standing up, rather than die flat dead on my stomach or my back. You got imbeciles like Mike Rowe sitting here saying, it's almost as if. While he does not do those jobs, he makes a giant production about doing those jobs. We have a whole other video we still need to do. I might stop this one after this is done and then start up again with this one. Whole other video we need to do, people. I told you this was going to be a long video.
Or it might come down to values. As many public schools have stopped offering shop class, many students have stopped even considering jobs like the ones Rowe has spotlighted. Dirty or otherwise.
The reason why schools have stopped doing that is because those jobs are the most likely ones to get automated. Or actually, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. The ones that pay the most are the ones that people want to get automated the furthest. Okay, fine. These jobs will not pay you enough to live as a single person, male or female, much less support family, much less support another person, even if you all decide not to have any kids. This job is of no consequence at that point. The job cannot allow you, as I just showed you with the math, and go in the more info panel, you'll see all the links. I will have all the links there. These jobs cannot, will not pay, whether they can or not, they will not pay enough for you to live. Any at all, much less with some dignity. And dignity I define right here as this. Where the hell is this? Where the hell is this? This here. Boom. As this. I define it by this, and they define it how they defined it. Their methodology. Okay. All right.
Goes back to the stigmas and stereotypes and myths and misperceptions that are keeping guidance counselors from talking about opportunities like this to the kids in their care. It's those things that are keeping parents from putting all the options on the table.
And I just thought this up now as he said that parents, stopping parents putting all the options on the table. And I saw these, and both of these I only watched the first like 3 minutes, so this is definitely just on the fly, you know, because I've only watched both of these 3 minutes in. So he says, okay, stopping parents. Parents are more than likely either older Gen X or young to old boomers. Okay? Those same boomers, right? And he's claiming that misperceptions and this and that is stopping the parents from putting all the quote-unquote options on the table. This is not an option, sir. This is not an option. How interesting it is that this was not an option for you. Why didn't you do this job instead of what you actually did to make all those millions? Huh? This is not an option, especially after I just said, and this is why I'm like, oh my God, I just thought this up right now on the fly. I just finished saying how this thing is not paying people enough for them to live, single and alone. It is not paying them enough. Much less wife or husband, God forbid, but wife and kid or kids plural. And whatever the hell pets you might want, maybe get a pet rock instead. Shit. And now there's another factor that thank you just brought up, which now proves my point even more. Thank you very much. What do kids do when their parents get old? Or what is the traditional thing to do? The kids, I'll just tell you, take care of the parents. You cannot take care of yourself, much less spouse and or kids. Okay? And now you're supposed to take care of parent or parents, plural, in their old age? Because God forbid, because what did I just say? They decided to have fun. They decided to hot girl summer it up, so to speak. You know? And they don't have enough for retirement of their own freedom and free will. And now they're looking to you to take care of them. And you're supposed to do that on this quote-unquote dirty job. CBS Morning News, Mike Rowe et al., and everybody else who talks this stuff. Scott Galloway's kind of in on this too. He's been talking real slimy about my generation and the people that are supposed to be my generation and Gen Z, Millennials and Gen Z. He's a boomer himself, but he's been talking a little slick as well about this. It's money. It is money. Number one, despite what anybody tells you, despite what we tell you, it is money. After the money comes everything else. Oh my God, I don't feel fulfilled. Oh my God, I don't feel this, I don't feel that. The Great Resignation, the vast majority of it was not people making 6 figures or more. Was not people making 7 figures or more. It was bullshit ass jobs that weren't paying anywhere near enough. And they just said, you know what, screw this, it is not worth it. Let me go find something else. Well, if you don't like it, leave. Okay, that's exactly what they did. Oh, they don't want to work. Let's wrap this up.
How big of an issue is it to have this many people sitting on the sideline?
It's only a matter of our national identity. I think it's a giant issue. And by the time we realize how big an issue it is, we're going to have a hard time turning the temperature down.
Fascinating story.
7 million men. And they're watching 7 additional hours.
I was going to say that.
Relaxing.
Yeah, that figure got me.
Are
the women in their lives, or the partners in their lives working?
So this is where it gets a little bit political. People on the right.
Huh. Oh, okay. Well, interestingly enough, okay, one person came and asked an intelligent question. How the hell are these men doing this? Because when it comes down to it, these working age men are not collecting Social Security. They're not collecting, well, some of them might be getting disability, maybe, but they sure as hell aren't getting SSI, okay? So, yeah, there would be no such thing as homeless people. If people could just not work and still have a house, have food and have everything else. So, that leads to the question of where is the money coming from? Because you need money to pay rent. You need money to buy food. And despite what people want us to think, sorry, people are really not robbing stores like that. So let's see what the answer is that they decide to come up with.
Right, will say these guys are just living off government largesse. They're getting disability, they're benefiting from aid, and that's got to be reformed. And people on the left say they just need to be trained up. And yeah, in the meantime, they're living at home or they're depending on partners.
You mentioned this skills mismatch, and it just made me think, my grandfather was a machinist, which is a highly skilled job. Not anybody, you have to be trained to do that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know a lot of machinists now in 2023. And I wonder if people are being trained for that. And he mentions Mike.
So Mike Rowe has a foundation called Mike Rowe Works, where he does give people scholarships for that kind of training. That's part of the issue. But like Carla Trotman, the woman in Philadelphia who runs the circuit board manufacturing facility, she'll train you herself. If you're in the Philadelphia area, they're looking for 15 people there. It pays well. It's a nice, clean, quiet place to.
Okay, well, there you go. There's some stuff. They will train you. Okay, well, she will train you. Awesome. Excellent. There you go. But this comes back to the same fact. And okay, so sort of her answer, okay, but the spouse is doing it. Okay, so what's the problem? What is the problem then? It certainly wasn't a problem when the men were making the money and the women got to stay home with the kids. So why is it a problem now? The women are making the money and the men are staying home. Why equality, like... Now we have how many more hundreds of years of men should be able to stay home and, I don't know, take care of the house, cook, clean, and all that stuff and whatever, while women go out and sand themselves down to a stump? What is the problem? Okay, but she trains them. Yay, okay, in Philadelphia area. Oh, wow, all right. And it pays well. Well, what is well? What is well? Because there is a very distinct number as far as well. And in fact, living wage calculator, let's do it. Let's play this game. Let us play this stupid ass game. Back. Let's do this. Pennsylvania. Okay. And Philadelphia. Shit, I don't know what county that is. Maybe Philadelphia County? Is this, up, Philadelphia County. Can't tell me that's not in Philadelphia. Okay, there we go. Pays well. They don't say what pay well is. However, you need this. And this I'm assuming is take home, so you probably need more than this. By the time tax comes out, you need to take home this. In 2023, typical expenses, blah 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 blah. Okay, fine. Annual, blah, 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 blah. Okay. 2 adults, you need this. 2 adults, both working. Okay, fine. This is all right. So, are they paying at least this take home living, and then this is living wage? Then we have to come back over here, living comfortably. And actually, hold on. Is Philadelphia in here? Hold on. One moment. 20. Okay, 20. All right. Nope. There we go. Philadelphia. There we go. And Camden, Wilmington. That's Delaware, and it says Maryland. Okay. Philadelphia, that's PA. Camden, that's New Jersey. Wilmington, Delaware. I don't know where in Maryland they're talking about, because you're not living in Potomac on this. I can tell you that right now. You're not living in Chevy Chase either. Bethesda, Chevy Chase. This may get you Hagerstown, or maybe it's Panhandle, Maryland. I don't know. But there we go. Philadelphia. Post-tax annual salary needed. There you go. To live comfortably. This is post-tax now. So this is take home. So pre-tax, whatever the hell their tax rate is. Oh yeah, you'll train them and all that, but you're not going to get away with. You're not going to get away from it. You're not going to win. You are not going to win. You all are not going to win. Mike Rowe, you're not going to win. I come with the maths. Okay? And I can tell you right now, all of what you all are saying, all of what you boomers are saying, and then all of what the math says, 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 in this scenario. So, there's that.
Work. So go there. By the way, some people think, oh, maybe these guys are doing more stay-at-home dadding. That's an optimistic point of view. I looked at the numbers. Shauna Thomas, our executive producer, brought this up. In fact, these guys who are not working and not looking for work are spending less time caring for other household members than the guys who are at work. So they're doing...
Yeah, I'd like to see. In fact, do they even have it down here? No, they do not. Yeah, I'd like to see how they come by that. I would very much like to see how they come by that. Very much like to see that. Okay. Then the men that are working. Yeah, very convenient. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'd very much like to see that. Because, especially in today's day and age, with the amount of appliances you have, it does not take much to clean an entire house. It really doesn't. Especially if you're not getting the whole fucking house dirty all the damn time. And that way you only have to do a little bit of light dusting and maybe the stuff in the kitchen, dishwasher, and then maybe wipe the floors a little bit. Ask me how I know. And then as far as kids go, especially if it's not like babies that need... Okay. And actually, you know what? Let me lean into that a little bit. When it's men going out and working and the wife stayed at home, ask me how I know this as well. How is it that those women, the stereotype of the pool boy or the cable guy and stuff, where do you think that shit comes from? Okay, so then how did these women have time to do that if they were just barefoot and pregnant, ragged and haggard the entire time, sun up to sundown? Especially in today's day and age. They're not. It does not take that long. How the fuck do I know? Because I spent my fucking early 20s whoring myself out between Potomac, Bethesda, and Fairfax, Virginia, hitting all the fucking mills, getting passed the fuck around like a blunt, dicking down all the mills, busting nuts balls deep in all the mills, and not having to worry about STDs because these bitches are rich. They're not going to have STDs like that. And I was right because, you know, I don't have any now after all the freaking tests I've done. And let's be honest, a 20-year-old broke college kid, you're really going to come home to some 6- and 7-figure dude with my kid? For any of those MILFs that even could still have kids, well, they probably all could still have kids. It was like late 30s, early 40s while I was in my 20s. Yeah, so, yeah, I had fun with those women in Potomac. I had fun with those women in Bethesda, Chevy Chase. Older women, their men are out there busting their ass, and I'm inside busting their ass, literally. Whoops, it slipped in, and I stayed in. Well, I'm already in there, so I might as well. Shit. Ask me how the fuck I know. So, no, those ladies were not, and hell, not all of them were even all that rich. Not even all of them had wealthy dudes paying for everything. Some of them were just regular run-of-the-mill, but the guy still went out and he was working. She was at home. The kids were at school. She was bored. Wine. In enters my black ass with this dick. Get hard. Bust her down for an hour. Bust a nut. Stay hard. Keep going. Fuck her again. Bust another nut. That shit hurts now. And if she was really good, stay hard a third fucking time, and then I'm blowing nothing but fucking air. I'm cramping up. It's not fun anymore. And then we finally call it quits. My 20s. My fucking 20s. So, yeah. I'd like to see this study, this findings that they did and how they came by those findings. Because, again, real world beats your scientific peer-reviewed journal entry, blog, vlog, captain's fucking log, okay?
Less childcare, not even a little bit more.
I don't know, but an able-bodied man who can work and doesn't, it's not attractive. I'm just going to say, not attractive.
And on that note...
Okay.
Yeah, on that note, and actually keep in that note, because we have this entire other video to do. Not attractive, able-bodied man who can work and doesn't. And they're all busting out, and you even heard the woman in the back with her damn Roseanne laugh. Who can work but doesn't. And when he does work, then what? Okay, I'm going to work. I work part-time at McDonald's. I'm working. I'm better than this guy who doesn't work, right? Right? Can work but doesn't is not attractive. What constitutes attractive, madam? A man that works. Again, you got the McDonald's worker. You have the Uber drivers, the rideshare drivers, DoorDash and all that business. Right? Are those attractive? Are they beating the women off with a stick? No, they're not. And neither are the men that are doing these quote-unquote dirty fucking jobs. That's not attractive to men either. Why, I believe the great Bill Burr said it best. Women aren't attracted to lumber. That's why all these hardware guys, these roofers and stuff, they're not getting the supermodels. They're not getting even the hot girl next door that's not a supermodel, but should have been, but for some reason they couldn't find her. The girls that guys want to fuck, they're not going for the blue-collar dirty job guys. They're not going for the roofers because girls don't care about lumber. or however the hell he said that joke. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So you sit here and say it's not attractive, madam. And actually, I'm glad I started with this one, considering what she said, to go right into this. Okay. Yeah. So, there's that. Before something decides to happen to this, let me stop this one and then start on this and splice them all together. Be seeing you. And here we are at the final third. I actually did say I was going to go into the comment section, so thank God I didn't get rid of this. Get rid of this, though. Micro, don't need you. Let's go through a few of the comments first before we go through here. Let's see now. This is 3 weeks ago. This is from Joe Dahlman. Quote, "My husband is in his prime working years and he has applied to hundreds of jobs without any offers. He's qualified, he's skilled, he has experience, but at 50 plus, he seems to be ignored." Ah, that whole ageism business, okay. "It's infuriating and quite frankly depressing. Most of the corporations are lying. They don't really want to hire." That, and when they have to hire, they're not trying to pay. Oh, just get an H-1B visa. Oh, why to get them? We can pay them $1. They come here and slave away and all that, and then they go back home to live like gods. They make it look like they want to hire, but prefer to make one employee do the work of 3 for pay of 1. Well, you can ask. I mean, hell, I could ask anybody from my girl that I live with here, and she complains every single day that they're short-staffed. People keep leaving because they're trying to get rid of, for those positions anyway, they're trying to get rid of, they called them back and they got mad. They called them back into the office. They got mad from the remote work. I guess they realized how much savings it is and how much, well, I guess I don't need to pay childcare when I can stay the fuck home and take care of my kid while I'm working. Imagine that. Not having to commute either. Wow, a lot of savings there, huh? Plus the amount that you save in time lost, in time not lost commuting. Fuck. But, and those people left. I guess they went somewhere else, and so they're short-staffed. So she's doing like 2 people's jobs, apparently, from what she told me. Got another person doing 3 people's jobs. So there you go. Let's see, who else we got? From Darnell from Darnell Capricioso. Capricioso. Okay. Looks like a fusion of Italian and Brazilian Portuguese. Anyway, whatever. Last year, and this is 11 days ago, okay? So last year, more than 140,000 jobs were slashed from public and private tech companies as they were forced to confront rising inflation and tumultuous stock market. Yeah. The IT world, of which yours truly knows a little something about. Yeah, so there's that. There's also all of these startups that hired all these tech people, but they're startups and they weren't really making money. And I guess nobody was buying them up, because that's the point of a startup. You're supposed to get the startup and then have some big company come and eat your ass and pay you for it. That's how startups work. I guess that wasn't happening enough. And so you have all these tech people that really probably didn't need to be there, including also all these other jobs in startup that really are just makeshift jobs, gypsy jobs, don't really need to be there. I always wondered with all these startups, especially these tech startups. Oh, we have beanie chairs and you come in and you're getting a massage and you're able to play games and this and that. I'm like, when does the actual work get done? Not saying I don't want that shit, although, you know, it could help if you didn't, like, give them an early grave with the diabetes with all the crap you're feeding them, right? You know, God forbid you have some healthy shit, right? But got motherfuckers over here playing pool, got motherfuckers over there playing video game, got bitches over here getting their nails done, bitches over there doing massages and shit. Somehow there's a gigantic fucking sauna, but somehow there isn't some sort of accusation, sexual-based accusation coming from, obviously, the women, because both men and women are in there at the same time. Who's actually doing... You all do what in this startup? Okay, it involves coding. Where's the actual coding being done? You know? I always wonder that. But yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, tech is taking a beating, especially once you realize that the risk of sounding racist, Zhang and Patel over in China are probably the ones doing the coding, and then they just ship that shit in an email to you all, and then you all just go over it. And fuck. 1 month ago, and I'm glad people are calling them out in this thing. This is such bull. This is from Sabretooth14. This is such bull. I spent my entire 20s trying to get this is the one that made me like this, make me want to do this. Part of the reason why I want to do this video, seeing this one here. This is such bull. I spent my entire 20s, okay, my entire 20s trying to get an apprenticeship in the labor industry. Hundreds of applications and never even got calls back. And they got callbacks. Whoops, I'm reading it as he said it. As he wrote it. Or God forbid she wrote it. Applications and never got callbacks. When I finally got into the contracting job, which was the only thing I could get, they lowballed us. Oh, they lowballed you. So I'm guessing they weren't paying salary needed to live comfortably. Oh, okay. All right. Going back to it. Lowballed us and paid us basically minimum wage. Until the company went under, of course. After that, I got a job working from home that paid more than double what I was making as a contractor. These companies abused their workers and underpaid them for decades, and now they're all in shock that no one wants to work for them. Ha! And I'm going to stop right there. I've been a contractor for 30 years, manual labor owner. I've worked hard, very hard work. It's very hard work. I regret giving up on some of my prime years. Especially men are getting tired of all the work. Let me read this one. David Dobson, been a contractor for 30 years, manual labor, own business, never had employees. Okay, so he was his own, okay. It's very hard work. I regret giving up some of my prime years just to participate in this economic structure. Men are getting tired of all work and no play. I know I am. And you all can go through the rest at your leisure, since apparently there's so much of that, supposedly, right? Okay. Yeah, so, shall we?
Last week I delved here into recent data from the CDC suggesting major problems with regard to the mental health of our adolescents, surges in depression and suicidal ideation, especially
for just 60...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
especially true for our girls. This week I found cause to worry about young men.
Oh, really? Okay.
Headline from The Hill. It caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is going to be fun. Glorious. All right. Most young men are single. Most young women are not. So, lesbians, have your numbers exponentially increased? The answer is no. No, they have not. So, what have we here? CNN, okay, and this was 2 weeks ago. All right, and we even have a comment from me. All right. What could explain this? Remember what she said. And how many men? Okay, all right. So who are these young women getting with if most young men are single, and the way this thing tells it, damn near 100% of able-bodied men aren't working? And from what she said, we're chaining the combos here. You're able-bodied and you can work, but you're not. That's not attractive. Bring that triangle full circle. Triforce of fucking Hyrule, right? And we have just ruled out the lesbians. Sorry, lesbians. It's not because women have just seen the light of lesbianism and now, oh my god, lesbians are just left and right. Nope. It's because 90% of women are sharing 10% of the men. And I'm just coming up with that as a rough thing. It could be 75% of women, 25% of men, whatever. Point is, there's some men that are fucking out here, and there's some men that are getting the puss. And there's a fuck ton of men that are not. Let us continue.
The story reported that as of 2022, Pew Research Center found 30% of U.S. adults are neither married, living with a partner, nor engaged in a committed relationship. Nearly half of all young adults are single. Now, look at these numbers. 34% of women, twice as many, a whopping 63% of men. What explains that?
I've just explained that. And I really question these numbers considering, but I've just explained that real simple.
I pulled the Pew study and I read with interest. Turns out since 2019, the share of single men who say they're looking for dates or a relationship has declined from 61% to 50%. In 2018, 28% of men ages 18 to 30 reported they'd had no sex in the past year, compared with 18% of women of that age.
Yeah, they reported that, and 28% reported that they haven't. Well, of the ones, okay, 18 to 30, fine, and the ones that they got. But even so, I kind of wonder about those numbers. Were they hooked up to a polygraph, even though those can be fooled? Something tells me it's a lot more men that weren't having sex, and probably a lot less women. But, you know what, whatever. We'll keep going.
The Hill report said men in their 20s are more likely than women in their 20s to be romantically uninvolved, sexually dormant, friendless, and lonely. They stand at the vanguard of an epidemic of decline.
Sounds right.
Declining marriage, sexuality, and relationships that afflicts all of young America.
I wonder why that is. She said what? What did she say? Okay.
Among the causes, among the factors, a reliance on social media and online porn. But also, more young women are hooking up with each other or dating and marrying slightly older men, and heterosexual women are getting more choosy. Other troubling statistics about men come from a 2021 study from the...
And they completely... Okay, yeah, they got some things, but the online porn, isn't it? That's not the cause. That is just a little bit of Band-Aid for them. Okay? That's really just a little bit of Band-Aid for them. Okay? But that's not the cause of this. And women are hooking up with each other. Yeah, okay. But again, is full-on lesbianism, or hell, even bisexual, but lesbianism just going out of control, I highly doubt it. In fact, I'm willing to bet both in left and right nuts and money I don't have on that. The slightly older men, are you sure about that? Slightly older men? Slightly older men. Okay. All right. Something slightly older according to whose rules? I think we have an idea of where it's going if they actually were to dig into that whole slightly older men business.
Survey Center.
And why? Why? Sorry, I'll start in a second, but why? Well, young women, they said what, 18 to whatever? Okay. But as we have now established, millennials don't have the money. Gen Z doesn't have the money. And Gen X is kind of just like, shit. So who has the money? And that is the reason why I'm saying slightly older men. Slightly older men. Okay.
For American Life, they found the share of men who have 6 or more close friends, which in 1990 was 55%, by 2021 had shrunk by half. Meanwhile, those with literally 0 close friends, which stood at 3% in 1990, has zoomed to 15%. An expert quoted by The Hill said this disconnect can have catastrophic consequences for young men. Quote, in the worst case scenario, the young American man's social disconnect can have tragic consequences. Young men commit suicide at 4 times the rate of young women. Younger women are largely responsible for rising rates of mass shootings, a trend that some researchers link to their growing social isolation.
All right, so it was at this point where I went and, this was not 6 minutes ago, by the way, that I wrote this, obviously not considering this video is probably over 2 hours long at this point. This was a while back. I don't feel like refreshing it, but this is actually probably over days back or day back, because I kept this up. I kept this thing up to make this video. So once he said that, the whole mass shootings thing, that's where I immediately came down here and I said what I said here. We're still going to go through the rest of the video, but I said this, quote, which men are they talking about? All men in the USA or all white men? Last I checked, all the shit that's affecting men, quote unquote men, has been affecting black men for how many decades and generations now? And society as a whole weren't able to give less of a fuck than they already did. To which point, 4:50, I went and said, at 4 minutes and 50 seconds in, I went and said, maybe because POC, people of color, aren't the ones that have now, or aren't the ones that have now, nor always had control of the reins. Actually, you know what? When we get there, I'll read this so that it makes more sense. Let's keep going.
Well, those words reminded me of a conversation that I had over a year ago right here on CNN with NYU professor Scott Galloway.
Here we go.
Most people you see on here talk...
Most people I see on here.
But the issue is, when you have a group of men, the lower half of attractiveness of men, and online dating, which has doubled, now it's about half of relationships, and the top 20% of men in terms of attractiveness get about 60% of the interest, you end up with a group of men that are more prone to conspiracy theory, more prone to misogynistic content, more prone to not believe in climate change.
This is where I stopped taking this guy seriously. In fact, I have not taken him seriously for a couple of years now. Back when he was slightly younger, and he was running, was it L3 or LC3 or whatever the hell? Somewhere here on YouTube, and he was actually making, this was probably like, what the hell was this? 2016, 15, 14, whatever. I listened to him intently, but what the What the hell? And again, this also makes me wonder: are they talking about men as a whole, or are they talking about white men? Because, hate to break it to you, black guys, by and large, aren't doing this. Asian guys aren't doing this, by and large. East Indian guys, by and large, Middle Eastern, Native American. Climate change has nothing to do with... So because you're not getting pussy, you're sitting here denying climate change. Because you're not getting any ass, you're more likely to shoot up the place. Well, that's Elliot Rodgers, isn't it? That's not Tyrone. That's not Zhang. That's not Tyrone. That's not Fei Long. That's not Dalsim. That's not T-Hawk. That's not fucking Aladdin. That's not... Right? That's not none of us. People of color. And that's why I'm like, you know, who is this to? Who do they actually really give a shit about? And he completely missed the mark. Even though he went and literally showed, like, said the thing, said the study or poll, whatever the hell he came on. Women are giving interest to a small group of people. Women that have no business turning down even 0 men, much less a 1 or a 2 or a 3 level dude, right? Those same women are only looking at 10s, 9s, maybe 8s if they're desperate. When really they should be paying men that are 0s to give them the time of fucking day, much less. But he just completely ignored all that. Climate change, and they deny climate change and conspiracy theory and conspiracy theory. I don't believe in conspiracy theories anymore. Or in the way society likes to demonize it. And that happened right after Alex Jones. Where Alex Jones, oh my god, Alex Jones. Where he came out with the most outlandish shit when it started. And then it turns out that he was actually right about that Bohemian Grove bullshit. And it's like, wait a minute now. This was supposed to be bullshit. And ever since then, I'm just like, you know what? Let me not say conspiracy theory. Let me actually listen to the alternatives that one and all come with, and then be like, yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, my boy. Or, because it's amazing how stuff just comes out now. But it was conspiracy theory just like a good short 5 to 10 years ago. Moving right along.
So this is the American story. If it's written with a pen whose ink is failing young men, does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
As always, Professor Galloway was prescient. Back with me now is Scott Galloway. He's a professor of marketing at NYU Stern School of Business. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's the host of the Professor G podcast and author of multiple...
Serial entrepreneur. Now, I wonder, does that mean that he keeps trying and failing, or does he keep trying and keeps winning, just win out of control, and he just has all these businesses everywhere? I don't know, but I'd like to think it's the latter if he's out here teaching these people, right? But, you know, there is that adage or that saying, those who can't do teach. I never really believed that. It kind of didn't make sense to me, but whatever.
Best-selling books, most recently, Adrift, America in 100 Charts. Scott, thanks for returning. Hasn't the advantage always been to those with the looks and or the money? What's changed?
Nothing. It's still that. What's changed is that you now have the internet. You now have swipes and apps. So those people with the looks and money can now... The women now have closer access to get to them, whereas before, hell, shit, from 2005 or maybe even 2005 back, those women knew full well they didn't have access to those guys and could not come into their proximity to hopefully maybe get some, I don't know, pity sex or pity attention or something, because the women that those 10s and 9 dudes actually wanted weren't available, so they settled for the dregs, right? Yes, bitch, I called you all dregs. Shit. The fuck you gonna do? Before they full well knew that, so it's like, man, let me go take the dude that's across from me and stop looking up, or maybe I'll go settle for the dude that's one step below me, okay? In today's day and age, they don't have to do that. That's what's changed. But the dudes with the money and or looks, God forbid both, they're still getting it.
First off, Michael, I just want to say thank you for raising this issue a year ago when a lot of media companies were afraid to talk about this for fear of it being pro-men with somehow being anti-women. Look, this is returning to the natural order of things. For the majority of history, a small percentage of men have had the majority of the mating opportunities. But in America, we decided to make a huge investment in what would probably be the greatest innovation in history, and that is in the middle class. From 1945 to 1947, 7 million men returned from war, were discharged from the service, and we decided to give them the GI Bill, subsidized mortgages. We saw education rates go from 5 to 45%. They were valued, and we had such a strong manufacturing base that you had massive marriage and household formation. And some men were seen as more economically and emotionally viable. And you've seen the reverse happen with the offshoring of much of our manufacturing base, with a society that quite frankly doesn't value young men. When we talk about problems with people of color or women, we see it as a systemic societal problem. When we see problems or the stats that you just mentioned, we see it as accountability, or that men just need to level up. But married house...
Okay, now that's where this comes in that I wrote at 4:50. Quote, maybe because, quote unquote, POC aren't the people of color, aren't the ones that have now, nor always had, the control of the reins. Or am I to understand that what's happening with white men is somehow the fault of black people or immigrants? Black people and immigrants didn't take the USA off the gold standard, move jobs overseas, unleash feminism on society, etc. You all have no one to blame but yourselves as a group, not each and every single one of you, but as a group, for this, white people. All right. So, you know, there's that. And again, all of what he's talking about back in the 1992, to which point you got to go right back to the beginning of my freaking video. It's like, yeah. Back in 1992, when you all had, what? Union jobs? Things didn't cost anywhere near as much. Standards of living was hard, like candy for 1 cent, gas for 10 cents a gallon, you know? Purchasing power and dollar valuation was a lot, like, you know? So, there's that.
Households and household formation are better citizens. They vote. They save at twice the rate. They're less likely to commit crimes. And we have fewer and fewer viable...
Less likely to commit low-level, I guess also quote-unquote violent crimes. But I always wondered about that. Less likely to commit crimes. How does white-collar crimes factor into that? Because when you don't have the means, when you can't even make it to the middle class, much less, you're very rarely except in today's day and age where you have computers and you can do that, you're not going to be doing white-collar corporate crimes if you can't even get into the middle class. Today, you probably can, at least with computers and, oh my God, hacker this and that. Okay, fine. But back then, you couldn't. So I kind of wonder, less likely to commit crimes, what kind of crime?
Men. We have a dearth of economically and emotionally viable men, but the middle class is an accident. Unless you invest in it, it doesn't happen. Eisenhower decided to invest $500 billion in a national highway project that created tons of jobs. We have, and by the way, the tax rate back then was 91%. We raised money and we redistributed in social programs that made young people more economically viable.
That highway that Eisenhower went and funded, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't some of those highways literally cut into black-owned, created, owned, and operated neighborhoods and towns? What was it, the Highway Commission Act or something like that? Or maybe it was urban renewal or something like that. I get the dates mixed up. So this created untold numbers of jobs for who? Probably white men. Okay. at the expense of entire black communities who, and I know there's one in Florida that had this happen to them because I think those people finally got their land back after how many generations or decades or whatever the hell it was. They eminent domain they eminent domain all these black areas and put highways through them. They wouldn't do that with any white areas though. So again, it makes me wonder, much like with these people, are these people only sounding the alarms now because white men are being affected? The white men, these boomers, kids and grandkids are now being affected by the same shit that they went and told black people, stop complaining, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all that business. And now the white guys that are now these boomers, kids and grandkids, they got the indoctrination. Trust me, they got the indoctrination that because white, they're better and higher IQ and all that stuff. But that's not translating out in the real world. That's not translating out in the real world. And now those kids of these boomers and grandkids of these boomers, they don't want to turn around and see us black people staring straight at them like a bull across a field like, yeah, it's not because nigger. It's not because low IQ. It's not because don't want to work. It's not because any of the shit you said. It's because your parents and grandparents, much less everybody behind them, before them, fucked us up. And now they can't fuck us up anymore without literally just biologically killing us off, and that's not about to fucking happen, right? That's not about to fucking happen, to say the least. Can't do that. You all are too weak, and they're too old, okay? So the only people left is you, oh white youth. Black people have been on the ground so long, they're used to it. You all are not.
And then, Scott, you toss in the influence of social media and how relationships today, they don't come from, in our era, happenstance and mingling, right? They come from swiping, and that further accelerates this issue. Am I right?
Let's see if they're going to get it right.
Oh, it's been the chaser to it. I mean, to have an honest conversation about this, we have to be honest. And that is that men and women have different mating criteria. One quarter of men saying economic viability is a key criteria in a mate. 3/4 of women say that is important. And when you're on a two-dimensional format, where now it's 1 and 2 relationships begin online, it used to be 1 and 4 just a few years ago, it gets distilled down to a small number of criteria. Specifically for men, it's does she look attractive, and specifically for men, is he able to signal his ability to garner resources in the future? An average attractive male on Tinder gets swiped less than 1% of the time, and there's 3 men on Tinder for every 1 woman. So you've distilled it, you've taken out one of the key components of mating dynamics, and that is vibe, humor, body language, pheromones, the ability to be, quite frankly, a little bit persistent in the pursuit of a romantic relationship. We have no third places anymore, no places to meet. People aren't going to bars, they aren't sports league, they aren't going to church, they aren't even going to work. So
right. About that, as far as the persistent stuff, well, Me Too pretty much killed that. Okay, it was already on life support just from feminism alone. And oh my God, you creepy pervy, but Me Too pretty much killed that off. So there's that. And that's not coming back, especially with the way women are now with, again, the social media, with the TikToks. Oh my God, creepy, pervy, feral. The gym videos, y'all know what I'm talking about. So there's that. Economic viability, yeah. So I guess that kind of comes back to what I said. Salary needed to live comfortably. Which also brings us to this. 2 adults, 1 working. So that's going to be the dude. And figure out however many fucking kids you want from this. It's about the money. So it's not about vibe or anything else. That vibe and all that stuff he's talking about, that's how single mothers get made. Because these bitches out here, sorry, ladies, females, y'all bitches keep picking these dudes off vibe and feeling and whatever the hell. And for whatever the hell odd reason, you're not getting abortions, even though the vast majority of abortions are a matter of convenience. Not because, oh, I got raped by dad or brother, probably both, or anything, or because I am going to die if I have this kid. No, it's a matter of convenience, okay? Despite that, so many of you are not having an abortion, and you all are choosing to have kids because of some dude that only wanted to fuck, and you only wanted to fuck, and right? But because of vibe and pheromones and all of that, yeah. So that's what's creating single moms, so that's not it, okay? It's money. Who can provide those resources? And that's not Chad and Tyrone. Sorry, that's not Sanchez. That's not Fei Long. That's not Dalsey. No. That's Bob. That's Zhang. That's Patel. That's Umberto. That's Abu or Ali or what? Nah, let me not give to Ali. Abu, I guess. I don't know. Abu, yeah. That's. And then what am I going to do for black? So Tyrone, okay. What am I going to do for black? A black square, black nerd, black name. Shit. Nerd black, square black. Carlton. Yeah, there we go. Standard good old Carlton. There we go. Standard issue Carlton Banks. There we go. That's what we're doing. That's what the fuck we're doing. That although, but he has money though. So yeah. That's what we're talking about. Resource money. Yeah. So Carlton. Yeah. That's the ones. Those are the ones that these ladies should have been picking. Those are the ones that these ladies should have been giving it up virginity as well as 18 to 21 and 2. And they chose not to. That is where the families could have started. Not with Carlton having to take care of Tyrone's kids. Not with Bob having to take care of Chad's kids. Not with Zhang having to take care of fucking Fei Long's kids. Okay? Dalsim's dick is sitting here stretching a million miles. And anybody who knows who Dalsim is from Street Fighter, dick is going over here in Manjula, in here, in I don't know, some other East Indian woman's name, girl's name, right? He's getting all them bitches pregnant. He's the one that's responsible for India having such a high population. But it's Patel that has to take care of them kids, not Dalsim. All right, let's continue. I'm having too much fun with this now.
It gets distilled down to very one or two dimensional attributes, and the reality is women are much choosier than men, and they can apply those screens, and they allocate all of their attention to a small number of men that results in just essentially at the end of the day a lack of opportunities. Chris Williams summarized it perfectly. He called it the high heels effect. In the last 40 years, more women have graduated from college than men, and they're not interested.
Graduated, but in what? In what? In what exactly? Rocket science? Computer engineering? Electrical engineering? Mechanical engineering? In what?
Mating with non-college grads. They now own more homes, single women than single men. So what?
Own more homes? Really? Own more homes than single men? Because I've actually seen a whole bunch of women on Facebook has a dating app. Facebook dating, Jesus Christ. But they do have a dating app. And I've seen a lot of women say this. I'm a homeowner. I have my own car. You need to have the same. I have my shit together. You need to come with. And of course, much like any other time that I ask this question to women, they block me and whatever. They ad hom and then block me. And own it? Really? Are you sure? Because I can tell you right now, if you're making a car payment, you don't own the car. If you're making a house payment, you don't own the house. Hell, let's just say you own it free and clear. Stop making the, property tax payments and see just how much you own that house that you in fact actually do own. Right? So, I mean, do you really own it? By my definition of owning, and I guess it's the actual definition, no you don't, because you're still having to pay somebody. And they can legally come and take that shit from you if you do not pay them. Be it car or house. So, do they really own it? Probably not.
What you have is women say they won't date anyone shorter than them, 50% of them. Effectively, what you have metaphorically over the last 40 years is women have been getting taller and taller, and men have been getting shorter and shorter. How many of us have said, I know a ton of great single women, they can't find a date? That's not true. They can't find a date. They can't find a man they find economically or emotionally viable. If we don't make a massive investment in young people and make more economically and emotionally viable men, we're going to see a lack of household formation, we're going to see a decline in the middle class, and we're going to see, quite frankly, just a lot of young men who are terrible citizens.
Terrible citizens. Okay, well, let me go on ahead and just say what he will not say, because I guess he doesn't want to scare anyone. You're going to find a lot more men having, not choosing because they feel like it, but having out of biological necessity. Yeah. Again, nature says, you got to eat. We're not even going to say, oh, nature says you got to fuck, because it says that too. Okay, but we won't even go there. You need to eat. I don't care if you're butt naked, Adam and Eve style, or if you're fully clothed in an Armani suit. You need to fucking eat. And I don't care if you can afford it or not. You need to eat. I don't care if you're homeless and you don't have any money. You need to eat. What you're going to have is a whole bunch of men that are going to be forced to go to unlock the devil trigger, to be on demon time. I mean, if you don't know what demon time is, look it the fuck up, okay? That is what we're going to have. A bunch of men on demon time because they're going to have to be. And if you think that black people are just more prone to violence and all that stuff, okay, yeah, well, you know what? You have a whole bunch of white men out here that have been told that they are number one, they are the best, and yet life has not been panning out for them. They have an entire system that is made, was designed for them to win, and yet they're still somehow not winning. And not only that, they're seeing black people as a whole, much less everybody else, every other group as a whole, start to either catch up and or get past them, either slowly or in a system that that was designed and made for them, that was custom made for them. You're in their house, all non-white races, non-white men and non-whites are in white's house playing white's game by white's rules, and they're winning and beating whites. That's not gonna go well for a lot of for the vast majority of whites out here. And guess what? There's a lot more white people that have access to guns than any amount of blacks. Okay? Right? So, you know, there's that. So if you think black people are violent and all that because they're black, okay, well, let's see how whites are. Because, again, all of what they're talking about here has been the case for, I don't even know how it is with the other groups, but for black people, for black men, it's been like this since, I mean, I don't even need to go to slavery. Just after slavery, Reconstruction on, it's been like this for black men, by and large. So, you know, yeah, terrible citizens. Yeah, okay, boomer, that's a nice way to put it. Terrible citizens. Yeah, that's the way to put it.
So is the answer to fix this economically, and who will champion this conversation? You felt obliged to compliment me at the outset because we had engaged on this a year ago, and here I am revisiting it. And I read into that the fact that you think that it's politically incorrect even to have this dialogue.
When you're seen as advocating for men because of the 300,000-year head start we've had, it seems somehow it's anti-female. There's a lot of very unfortunate misogyny online that is masquerading as being pro-men. A lot of TikTok celebrities who talk about advocating for men, it's just thinly veiled misogyny. What do we need? We need more freshman seats in colleges. We need a massive investment in vocational training. We need to figure out a way to get more permitting for housing so young people can afford housing. We need to recognize our economic policies literally allocate wealth from young people to old people. The percentage of wealth that young people control under the age of 40 has been cut from 12% to 6%. These are concerted, deliberate decisions. We did away with the child tax credit. We don't want to make it any easier for people to have kids. But seniors just got their largest cost of living adjustment increase in history. We have made the decision to make it harder and more expensive for people to find each other, for people to mate, and for people to have children. And with
so boomers just got whatever tax, whatever the hell he just said. Meanwhile, so once again, it's the boomers that are the problem. Okay, and it is. The source of the problem. Okay, because, hey, who's been the one in government doing all this stuff that caused all of this to even happen in the first place? Was it millennials? Was it Gen Z? Okay. So boomers are the problem. We're sitting here asking boomer asking boomer for solutions. Meanwhile, my millennial ass just showed you the solution. Literally just showed it to you. These motherfuckers need to pay. They need to pay. They need to pay. Oh no, LinkedIn, that's not even it. That's not even it. They need to pay. That's it. They just need to pay. You know, we don't even have to bring back costs, standard the dollar value and purchasing power. You know what? If you don't want to do that, just make sure that the paychecks keep up with inflation. The same, whatever the inflation rate was back in the 1930s, and whatever the pay was back then, and what it was back in the 60s, and what the pay was back then, make sure it keeps up, tick-tock, pun intended now that I think about it, in lockstep with each other. So, you know what? It's the money. It is the money. It's the money.
without children, we turn into Japan.
Whoops. 1 second. 1 second.
Japan and Italy, and that is we go into population decline and our economy goes into decline.
I would like to know, but I thought Japan was honorary. Well, actually, we don't even go with that. Japan is an interesting thing, and I'd like to study them, considering they didn't have anywhere near the kind of stuff that the U.S. had, that the U.S. much less the West had, but yet they still. I'd like to study them and see what that is. Italy. I don't know what the fuck Italy, because they got no excuse. Italy, France, and all them, they really got no excuse considering. But anyway.
We are about to become a society. By the turn of the century, there will be 8 times as many people over the age of 60 and half as many kids under the age of 5. Nursery schools will become these strange situations with old people staring through fences at these creatures they don't see in the wild called children. Is this the world we want? Do we want a lack of kids? Do we want a lack of ability to create households? The happiest, most prosperous, most purposeful people in America are middle-class families. And we have made a concerted decision to punch it in the gut and make it harder for that type of family formation. And we're going to lose prosperity and we're going to lose purpose.
I had written down here at 9:36, by the turn of the century, the 22nd century is a long way off. We're just almost a quarter of the way there. It won't get that far if things stay the same as they are now. And I wrote this at 3/16/2023. It is now, what is today's date? 3/18. So yeah, there you go. Even though this thing here says 6 minutes, this was actually 2 days ago. Much less gets worse. And from that, it's not gonna take till close to the 22nd century for that to happen. So there we go. This video is probably what, 3 hours long now? 3 hours long, or damn near close to it. So there you go. There you have it. If anybody wants to say to the contrary of this video, assuming you actually even made it this far, I await your video. I await your video response telling me how wrong I am. And I showed numbers. Feel free to do the same. Alright? Because I do believe I have shown how this will not work. All of this will not work. And I think it's quite interesting that they're now coming, even he has to now admit, they have to admit, hey, we need to transfer money from these old people that need to act their age and die and just be on the way the fuck out to the young people that are actually going to still be here, because they're going to need to act. Yeah, you might have to do that. Maybe, just maybe, you get less bonus. You don't get to buy that other vacation home, that other sports car. And maybe we get to actually buy something. We get to live comfortably. We get to pay off student fucking loans. Huh? Maybe pay off the car note on the used car that we had to get. That we're sitting here having to learn how to build or maintain ourselves because we won't be able to afford to take it to the fucking shop every 2 seconds as it gets older and older. And we still need it to get to the job that's not paying us enough to the... Or hell, maybe the solution also is tell women, hey, you know what? Men stay at home now. You women have to go wear yourself down, and able-bodied men that are working but can't or don't, not attractive, well, maybe needs to be attractive. Because the fact of the matter is, we're not in their day and age anymore, and we're not going back there. Women sure as hell aren't going back there. And honestly, considering the way women have acted, women my generation, maybe even a little bit of Gen X, and certainly Gen Z have acted, but I don't want to go back there either. Okay? I don't want to go back there either. And this is actually probably going to be another video leading into this topic the most, but we see how women are now. We see how women are. So do men really want to... that's going to be another video, but I'm just telling you this right now. None of us dudes are cipher. None of us dudes are cipher. There's no going back in there and pretending like women actually give a fuck about us like that. Because as you can see, when they have a choice, they don't choose men. That's going to be another video. I don't know when I'm going to get it out, but I will get it out. And that's going to be glorious. Later.